Hex Centre Live, or tonight.
Welcome.
We keep changing it, but I'll say both just in case. This is the show about the Hex in the Hive. Welcome.
Welcome. Welcome.
Clearly we rehearsed this. I'm Windy, the host of this show, and here are my co-hosts.
I am Sir Knock. I wasn't here last time, but now I am here.
I'm Krello. I was here last time. Or was I?
To all our regrets, you were here. Now, of course, what we do here is we like to talk about the adventures that happen on the Hex, and last week we had a wonderful adventure. Let's take a look at some of our favourite parts of it.
I'm going to pull out one of my hand axes, and I'm going to throw it at the closest orc. That is a 25.
It's just 4 days and 4 days and 4 days and 4 days! Hands are going to come out of the ether if you look very carefully and reach around the throat of the ogre.
I'm going to hold my position and just shoot you a little bit.
I throw up.
Okay, please. Excuse me, 50 pounds right there. Do apologise to the young man. 22 piercing damage.
Because you are not dead enough! I found Hemlock. The 400 years was worth the wait to meet you. He really said that?
You just can't keep me down.
This time it's going to be butterflies. Is that better? It is better! It's dangerous!
You can call me Hotch. All of our champions survived!
Whew. Now that one was a doozy. All our champions survived, which is, quite a relief after last week. Do you have any quick thoughts about our adventures this past week, gentlemen?
That brings our average fatality to 1 per adventure. Per weekend adventure.
Sure.
Depends how you define adventure.
Think of it that way if you don't want to be practical. But what were your favourite parts of the past adventure, especially you, Corella? I want to hear something positive.
Well, I thought it was really great how the champions used their skills to defeat.
Right,
You can do it.
Okay, I thought
tried.
they made a lot of tactical errors and just got away with it.
No, so close.
It's all right. That was my favourite part too. But I was especially impressed with our newest adventurers, Tilly and Dig. Of course, Tilly had quite a sort of macabre form of magic. However, especially towards the end there, with her bringing down fireballs and all kinds of different magic, she has a way of reaching past what is visible and just bringing a lot of very interesting perspective
we kind of
and
saw
damage.
A similar layout to what happened in the first weekend, where you had some of the champions were sort of burning through their resources a little quicker, but Tilly was definitely one who saved it for the late game, and boy did it pay off.
Absolutely.
I still have nightmares about that call with the fireball, because we've got the weird thing where fireballs say they're a sphere, but there are no spheres in combat. There's only cubes. I still think about that a lot. That's what keeps me up at night.
I as well think about those kinds of things, because it's a normal kind of thing to think about when you're playing a role-playing game, is the actual three-dimensional shapes. Of course, character-wise, I thought that Tilly brought a lot to the table. It was very interesting to see the hole that was sort of left over by Hemlock and Onin.
Right.
And I was so proud of these champions for not trying to necessarily be those people, but just to be themselves. We saw a bit in the highlight reel that Andrea in particular was having a very hard time because she and Hemlock were quite close. And so I was very proud of Tilly for not trying to be Hemlock in any way, but just bringing what she brought to the table. And there was actually a part where she reached out to Hemlock from the beyond and brought some messages from him to help sort of close them.
Hemlock's travel into the future via being a tree was so precise, because you saw it was like, 400 years was worth it to meet you, but he was alive for like 3 days.
Right. I mean, sort of a lovely, nice, romantic message. But if you want to just take it and we can do that.
Yeah, but if you look into it, it's 400 years. The ROI on his 400 years is poor, is what I'm saying.
Sure, I understood those words, but
Well, I want to say that I agree with you, that it's very interesting to see how these champions, even though they come from the same clan, and you can see, the sort of values that, hold that clan together, but it shows you that the clans aren't a monolith. That the champions that make up each clan, each are very individual, each come from very different places, whether it be 400 years in the past, or from mysterious origins that give you the power to speak to the dead.
Absolutely.
And with that, I think Deg is such an interesting representative of Krieg, because you can sort of look at Krieg and you think they're the meatheads, and yet we've seen such variety out of the Krieg clan. But Onan started out being a barbarian way back when, came back as a warlock and a squishy warlock at that. And so we sort of had Onan was a fusion of old Krieg and new Krieg, whereas Deg, to me, is new Krieg. He just goes in, he gets the job done. Ironically, he's a better tank than Delia. I think she was really used to being the tank. And then in comes Deg, who's just strictly better at it.
Well, I mean, they fulfill different roles, of course, but
Well, she's been moved to more of a supporting role, which paladins kind of want to be doing.
It's true, and I remember that in my own adventures. When I was a champion for Arya, I was very much used to dealing a lot of damage, but when I came back as a guardian, I was forced into that support role.
Right. And that's, Delia is sort of having to go through that same growth now, also clearly going through puberty, as we saw last week.
Oh, it was so hard to see her being so angsty and edgy and, like, not liking people. It's so unlike her.
But then she did like Deg. Well, we saw she liked Deg. She didn't declare like. She didn't say, don't hurt the boy I like.
Mm-hmm.
It's true, but a lot of actions speaking louder than words in that respect.
absolutely. So we actually, it was a little bit stuck there for a minute, but we actually have some clips that highlight both Tilly and Deg, and let's take a look at those, starting with Tilly.
As usual, pull out my little vial of maggots. I'm going to eat a couple, and then I'm going to point, and I'm going to say, dance. No offense, but your magic is creepy. But instead of maggots crawling around on its skin, this time it's going to be butterflies. Is that better? It is better! Yeah! And as it comes crashing down on the ship, it comes in a great ball of fire that is deafening.
Consuming these 3 giant beings. Well
Regrettably,
done.
the ship is also on fire.
70 points of damage total, and the ship is on fire.
This is going to be
Chantilly, please finish him.
Yes! I'm lifting up slightly into the air as I hold my hands up. My skin is turned blue from head to toe, and as it comes crashing down upon the giant, just as a little icing on the cake, as it were, this bolt of ice is going to come crashing down afterwards, and it's just very gently going to tap it on the nose.
So, of course, as we covered there, Tilly just bringing out a very macabre but very interesting form of magic, and then actually being quite a heavy hitter at the end. And, of course, Tilly's doing her best to try to find her place in the group there.
Well, and I think the butterfly thing was so interesting for that, because when we started, they were nondescript insect swarms. But then the party, they came after her like, hey, that's creepy. She's like, oh, I'll fix it. And so she made them flaming butterflies.
Well, of course, yes, one part that didn't show the butterflies were catching on fire. So, often her attempts to make things a little bit nicer
and
made them worse.
Butterflies.
But I really liked the kind of stuff that she brought to the table. And then, of course, we have a clip of Deg, if we could go and take a look at that.
I'm going to pull out one of my hand axes, and I'm going to throw it at the closest orc.
Range attack roll for the ogre. Against the ogre.
That is a 25.
I believe that will connect. Rolling a 1.
Javelin hits my abs. I throw up.
As he bites into your shoulder.
That's okay. I got 2. I feel my Krieg blood starting to activate, and I now get double the amount of attacks.
Blow after blow, you rain down on this already deteriorated ogre as he succumbs beneath your blows and perishes. Well done, Deg.
So yeah, we're seeing actually a lot of very interesting things with Deg there. He actually is very seasick very easily, and he'll throw up a lot. He often seems scared and unsure of himself, but he still charges ahead into the action.
I really admire that about Deg, and I think it shows that Krieg is not necessarily a state of being. To be in Krieg, you must be this tough to enter. It's what he aspires to that really makes him belong in the clan. Because he is. He's afraid and he throws up at things, but he is always, trying to be the kind of bold, action-seeking go-getter that is the Krieg ideal.
It's interesting that you chose the word charge, because Deg, I thought, was a little more leaned a little more heavily on his ranged options than we'll typically see out of melee fighters like him. And this is a little peek behind the curtain of how reality interacts with the Hexen here. I was talking to the Council of the Gods, and we decided we probably weren't going to track whether Jacquinot and Deg had actually used up their axes or daggers. And we're like, it doesn't really matter. We can assume that they're picking them up without needing to declare it. But then Deg actually made a big deal about it. And then the Hexmaster came in and said, okay, make note, you're down by 1 axe. And we're like, well, that's it. I guess we're tracking whether they're losing daggers and axes. And so it's interesting to see how the authority of the Hexmaster is definitely the last word. I mean, sometimes I ring and say, but then he's still the last word. On what is real.
You talk about his throwing axes. We actually have a comment here. I was a fan of Deg's sentimental throwing axes personally. His axe is actually from his father, who is dead, and so is his grandfather. There's such a long line of Kriegs there. And he actually lost his father's axe because of his honesty, even if it was a bit meta. But he still had that axe replaced with a dagger from Jacquinot. So it's sort of representative of this, he's moving on from, as you said, old Krieg and going into new Krieg. The inheritance that he has is getting replaced with new friends and new ideas.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Deg has been starving for a father figure. I mean, I feel like he's just exhibited the need for a father figure. He's looked at the Hexmaster, he's looked to Jacquinot as a weird uncle. He sort of treated Posse... Cool uncle, excuse me.
Excuse you.
I'm deeply sorry to everyone I hurt except Jacquinot.
So,
wherever you are, Jacquinot, screw you, buddy.
Whoa. It's Corello's funeral.
Dagger's throne.
But speaking of Dagger's throne, our champions accomplished quite a bit. But let's talk about what it was they accomplished. They actually they went through so many different levels of trolls and giants and hill giants, and they eventually got to that boat that had the book they were looking for.
They set it on fire immediately.
They did. Of course, it was the most
important thing they accomplished.
Even though the MacGuffin
was made of paper.
But
great plan.
They get there, they open the chest, and they sort of find the book. They find a third of it.
Right.
And they have to go out and find the other pieces. But they also uncovered something very interesting. I want to hear. Who is Hotch? Who the heck is Hotch?
Indeed.
Oh, there we go. Look at that.
That's Hotch.
That's good. Now I understand. I didn't understand who Hotch was before, but now look at this. What on earth is he?
He's a Fae, is my understanding.
Well, of course, but he's very well spoken. You can call me Hotch, for that is my name.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying that Hotch is sexy, but he is a little bit.
He's not sexy.
He's not sexy.
And here's I thought it was fun with Hotch when he revealed himself to the heroes, and you can see that he, unlike most of the entities we encounter out there, he has a presence here in the Hexen. Obviously, he's powerful, he's important, and he was like, help me get off the ship. And the hero's like, eh. And I assume if he drowned, we just would have watched him collapse right here in the Hexen.
I assume that someone would have come out with a watering can and just sort of doused him.
To help accurately portray what was going on with Hotch, they just would have dunked him in a bucket of water, and that would be it for Hotch.
He's very calm, Am I to understand the boat is on fire? Maybe we can help each other. Again, I'm not saying that he's sexy, but I do think about it a lot. So I'm just saying that I think it's very interesting. He is bringing up these very important things. It is not unlike champions to just forget very important factors like the boat's on fire. Someone brought that up in the chat. HexCat42, Hotch did remind everyone the boat was on fire. Very important. Thank you for bringing that up. But what was interesting is, who is this man? Is he evil? Is he good? And maybe if they had left him on the boat, he might have just turned all their brains into pineapples or something.
It's possible. Dare I say that's exactly what would have happened had they left him on the boat.
I mean, when it comes to the Fae, it can be very difficult to ask questions like, are they evil, are they good? Mm-hmm. For the Fae, there's very blurry lines when it comes to those kinds of things. As far as turning their brains into pineapples, that sounds very much like a Fae to me.
That's right in line,
Yes.
Although, I mean, Look, I get it. Hotch is mysterious. It was the rare time when we end a Saturday on a cliffhanger. Like, what's going on with Hotch? I'm sure we're going to find out more this weekend. But I hate that I'm the one saying this. Let's not sell our champions short. They could well have passed their saves. Maybe they could undo this creature. Maybe we're talking about a CR 1/4 little fuzzy worm thing, okay? Sexiness is not necessarily martial prowess. They just usually coincide.
That's just because you don't have a very high sexiness rating yourself.
That's unbelievably rude and not the point.
I'm just saying. But look, I'm sure that someone out there finds you very sexy, Corello. Though I've been through all timelines, I have yet to find them.
I mean, I'm an immortal being. I'm okay. I'm pretty
That's all right.
secure with who I am.
Oh, that's
As
good.
long as you find yourself sexy, that's what matters.
I do.
But
I do so very much.
we are all aware of this. But I am very curious. Is Hotch just going to become like their pet? Is he just going to go with them everywhere? Do they have to pick up the crystal ball? It's going to be very interesting to see to who he is. And he did say maybe we can help each other.
Yes, I'm sure that they will find a mutually beneficial relationship. But I think there's too much at work for him to be considered a pet.
That's probably true, but it's tricky because the Fae are such agents of chaos. If you think about the classic, when you make a wish with a genie, you have to phrase it very carefully because they might try to trick you. And a lot of Fae are very similar in that nature. Anyone who's been to the Fae Wild knows what a realm of impossibility and improbability it is.
Right.
And so, as sultry and a bad boy and mysterious as Hotch may be, it's still very difficult to know what it is he has up his sleeves, neck. It's hard to say. But if they make a deal with him, they're going to need to be very careful because if he is a Fae creature, I'm not saying they're not trustworthy, but they are known for being agents of chaos and trickery.
I mean, what you're saying applies to every humanoid I've ever met. I don't know if we should give him a special category, because have you met humans? They're not exactly reliable.
Sure, but there's a difference between being unreliable and sort of being a being of pure trickery and chaos, which is generally what a lot of
the dude was
Fae
a
are.
fuzzworm on a boat. He's obviously had an effect on you, and I respect that,
I'm
right?
not saying he has.
I can see him just as well as you can. He's a sexy animal. I understand. But I'm just saying, we shouldn't become to too many preemptive conclusions about him.
Well, there you have it, folks. Corello doesn't trust him because he trusts nobody. I trust him because I'd like to trust people.
I didn't say I didn't trust him. I'm
And
saying here in
you're
Throsha we're
sexually attracted
anti-prejudice.
to him.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I've seen him and I've heard him, and he's just
And he's had an effect on you,
very
and that's okay.
powerful being. You don't have to know. You just got to look. You just know that he's very powerful and wonderful, and I'm sure that he has very nice taste in music and that he is a wonderful conversationalist. But let's talk about something a bit more important.
So, Wendy, if you're just really excited by powerful beings, were you a Malthior fan?
Let's talk about something a bit more important.
Let's.
So,
More important than Wendy's feelings?
One
Okay.
of the most interesting gameplay aspects that happened this past week was the use of boons. We're going to get to that a bit more in a while, but I want to talk about particularly Andrea's use of boons. She used a lot of them, and she was able to save her team and herself. She got an apology out of you. She did a lot of wonderful things, but because of her boon usage, she did not have as many later, and it was not enough to keep her in the game.
Right.
And so, unfortunately, we are going to be saying goodbye to Andrea. And she's been such a heavy hitter. Are you kidding me? I mean, maybe not a tank in the normal sense of the word, but talk about a tank and a power puncher, kicker,
She's doing a
pirouetter.
pretty consistent amount of damage with her volume of attacks against everything we've seen so far this season has been low AC targets. She's managed to position herself to use her flurry very effectively. She's really been positioned ideally to bring them down. But when you make Justice apologize, you die. So
Well, she's
champions,
not
take
dead.
note.
She's just moving on to
I mean,
do
you move on
other
to defense
things. In
Throsha.
fact, I've heard that not only is she going on to help fight the good fight out in Throcia, but she is working on choreographing a large and beautiful ballet that is going to tell the story of Hemlock's life. So talk about
actually,
love.
She wrote a letter to us here at the Hextant, kind of as a farewell. Would it be all right if I read it?
Absolutely.
All
In
right.
fact, we have a bit of some clips about Andrea, so maybe we could sort of do them at the same time.
Yeah.
What? Are the clips silent?
Now that is
Are
an
they
idea.
silent? They
They're
are
not silent.
silent.
Well, then we
That's
will
too
not
bad,
do them
because
at
that
the
would have
same
been a cool
time.
voiceover.
Misunderstood that part, but that's all right. Let's hear that letter.
Citizens of Throcia, picture Andrea in your head as Cernock reads this note.
I'm not always
We
very
doing that
smart.
first?
Wisdom is my dump stat.
Unclear.
I think we should do the videos first. Yeah.
Video first. There
Okay.
we go.
Oh, there they go.
There we go. And we are actually going to read... Oh, no, the Hex Chronicle first. There we go.
Hail, traveler, and welcome to the Hex. Sit down, rest your feet. I've got a tale to tell I think you'll want to hear. Andrea's tale doesn't start like most heroes. She had no warrior blood, no dreams of glory, no star-crossed tragedy. All Andrea was born with was a gift for movement, for dance. When Andrea's ears heard music, her heart bloomed with an energy that could not be contained. And so at the tender age of 4, she began training to be a dancer. And by the age of 15, she was offered an opportunity to dance with a prestigious ballet company as they toured Throcia as part of Pleiana's pilgrimage, a roving celebration of the making that traveled from Satalani to Falholt and then back down to Asmarin. Andrea delighted in meeting new people and learning of new cultures and customs as she traveled and performed. But she also learned that everywhere she went, there were men with black hearts, waiting to take advantage of young, naive women like herself. She never came to serious harm, but fear gripped her once carefree heart, and she could dance no more. Andrea's parents, desperate to revive her once lively spirit, sent her to an all-female monastery, famous for healing the mind, body, and soul. As Andrea meditated and trained as a monk, she began to change. Fear and anxiety became courage and drive, and pain became power. Andrea returned to the stage, where she blended the passion of dance with the power of martial arts, dazzling all who saw her perform. She used her new fame to bring a message, to teach all the young women who felt hopeless and small that they too were full of power. Her performance and message resonated with the Guardian of Talon, who invited Andrea to join her clan and use her power to protect all of Throcia.
It's the stance that she does. I don't look as powerful, but...
I look slightly more powerful, so
absolutely.
I won't do it again.
We do
I
have a
don't
couple
wanna-
people in the chat here. We will miss Andrea so much. Nowhere Man 07, Andrea will be missed. He's hoping she will grace the stage again soon. And then Hexcat 42, no, we'll miss her. Who will beat up Corello? This is true. Very important parts.
I will not miss that.
But we do have our letter, and let's take a read of that right now.
Dear people of Throcia, it was an honor serving you as a champion of Talum, and I am sad that this time is coming to a close. However, I am excited about my next endeavor. I am pleased to announce that I am beginning a tour of Throcia with a new ballet honoring the life and legacy of Hemlock the Wizard. With this tour, I will be focusing my efforts on boosting the spirits of our people here in Throcia. It is through the support of our citizens that the clans are able to fight this war to protect our land. Without their support, we would have lost the war before it began. As I turn my efforts to giving back to the people of Throcia, I am happy to know that Clan Talon has found a worthy replacement to fight for the Hexant in my place. I ask that my fellow champions accept and protect Boobal as they did for me. I ask that the citizens of Throcia support and cheer for Boobal as they did for me. And Boobal, I know that you're going to make Talon proud. Kick butt out there. Love, Andrea of Clan Talon.
Excellent. Well, of course, Andrea was such an important part of this group. Not only was she a heavy hitter, but she showed that those who fight don't always have to fight with brute force, but sometimes with grace.
Yes. She is leaving behind very big ballet slippers to fill.
Indeed.
I thought her ballet slippers were normal size.
Metaphorically speaking.
Sorry, right, that makes sense.
Large in weight of importance.
Okay.
Yes.
Look at
But
her
they still
dancing
weigh
there.
a normal amount for ballet slippers.
Yes, they're actually quite light in reality.
Okay.
You don't want them, very heavy. But look at those dance moves right there. Not only did she kick butt, but she kicked our hearts.
The butt of our hearts.
Well, thank you very much, Andrea. And Sir Nock, you have something very important to
Yes.
present to her.
On behalf of the Hextant, we are awarding Andrea with the Medal of Throcha to thank her for her service as she returns to serve Throcha on the home front.
No, the Medal of Throcha, that's a bit different than the Medal of Pleiana, correct?
It is. The Medal of Pleiana is awarded to champions posthumously after they have given their lives in the service of Throcha.
So if you die, Pleiana. If you're alive, you get the Medal of Throcha. But, as we mentioned, though she leaves behind regular-sized, very light ballet slippers, the hull that she leaves in the group is sizable. But who is going to be filling the new role? We keep hearing the name Booball. Should we learn a little bit about this new champion, Booball?
Let's learn about Booball.
Let's learn about Booball.
Booball, do we have his rope? Here we go. Ooh. That's all we need, and that's Booball.
Now we know
I love the shift in tone with his intro. All the rest of them are like heavy drum beats, magical displays, and his is just like, ah. And, I think that matches his personality quite well. He is a human, so I'm not sure quite how he came by the name Booball, but, well, neither is he. You see, Booball has amnesia. He woke up in the forest of Throcha one day, knowing three things about himself. The first is that his name was Booball. The second is that he was a loyalist of Clan Talum. And the third is that he may or may not be married.
Oh no, that's a very big one to not know.
Quite a bit of mystery there. And of course, it's hard to say that he remembers that when, it's either a positive or a negative.
Now, technically, everyone knows themselves to either be married or not married or uncertain.
It's just that he doesn't know the answer,
Yeah.
So that's something he didn't
Like,
remember.
I know that I am married. And
Right.
you know that you're not married.
Right.
I assume. He doesn't know whether he is married or not married.
So he was the fact that he was even worried about it at all shows that he may or may not have a spouse.
That seems like
out there
convincing
somewhere.
evidence that he is married. I mean, it's not like he's like, oh, I don't remember where I live, but he's like, I don't know if I'm married.
Maybe he was left at the altar, and all he remembers is preparing for the wedding. You
Or
don't.
perhaps he's a widower.
And he ran off into nature, and he was going to marry someone named Ball, and his name was Boo. Maybe she just called him Boo.
I love that. That probably is. We have a couple mentions in the chat. People are very excited. Big Beard Kenobi, yes, a druid. May or may not be married. Yeah, that is very interesting. But calling it now, his spouse is a dragon. So you've heard it here, folks. May or may not be married to a dragon.
That is a possibility.
I mean, we all are either married to or not married to a dragon.
Now
so
she
50-50.
gets it.
Now, I'm glad somebody brought this up because we should be excited about a druid from Talum. As we mentioned before, every champion appearing on the Hex this quest has been given a custom subclass. And for the Talum Druid, I mean, Talum already has such a strong connection to nature. You could only expect that a druid who draws their power from nature would be something special.
Exactly. Like, I feel like we don't talk about this, but every clan sort of has the class or two classes that you'd kind of expect that clan to settle into. And we're quite, happy with the diversity in our clans and the fact that you can see a warlock from Krieg or whatever. But when you think of Talum, you look at their icon, for heaven's sake, you think Druid.
Druid. Now, all druids have the ability of the wild shape. allowing them to change their humanoid form into that of a beast. Bubal, however, has perfected this ability into the precision wild shape, so that he is able to change specific parts of his body into a, bestial trait.
So maybe he wants bare hands.
He may have bare hands! That is a possibility.
Someone had to make the joke.
Wendy, for the first time ever, I'm really glad you're here.
Oh, thank you. Normally you just bear with me.
Hey! Oh my goodness, she's on a roll!
Yep. Oh, there's a whole joke out there, not just a clause. Anyway, keep going.
He also has an ability named Reap What You Sow. You see, he keeps on his person a handful of magical seeds. And in the space of about 6 seconds, he can plant this seed and procure a fruit. Now, the effects of this fruit, nature itself is a little bit difficult to predict for us humanoids. I mean, maybe easier for you being a time traveler, I don't know. But this kind of manifests itself in the fact that he's not quite sure what that magical fruit will do. He knows that it's either a beneficial fruit that he or an ally should eat, or a harmful fruit that should be thrown at an enemy. But I mean, this beneficial effect can range from healing to, focusing the mind, and the harmful effect, well, it's really all over the map.
So this is somewhere, not that we would know anything about this because we don't do this here, but I've heard in the ether, in other worlds that don't have to worry about copyright infringement, that there are things called artificers, and then there are things called wild magic sorcerers. Artificers are known for being able to just sort of produce potions very quickly that have all kinds of effects, and wild magic sorcerers, often their magic is very wild and they don't know the effect it has. So this almost sounds like it's sort of a blending of those aspects. Fruits that might be good, that might, that you know if it's good, but you don't know what it's going to do. I find this very interesting.
It is very interesting.
So is it an action, a bonus action? How does that work?
Creating the fruit is an action, and then its use, I believe, requires another.
All right. So you just plant it and it grows pretty much instantly.
Just like that, in about 6 seconds.
So we've got people are calling him the Franken Druid Gardener. I really like the name of that class. I think we should change it to that.
Franken Druid Gardener, I suppose.
We'll tell him no immediately.
It's much easier to say.
I prefer referring to him as a force of nature.
Oh!
Whoa!
But that's just me.
Wow, that came to you so naturally.
About a week ago, yeah.
Oh, right. Yep, so we've already got hashtag Frankendruid, but of course that is our own hashtag, but we highly recommend you to use it. Please do. But I'm very excited to see what... So is Bubal, is that his... Bubal? The emphasis on the last one.
I honestly don't know.
There's no way to know.
Yourself.
Bubal, so is that his first and last name? Just his name? He's not sure?
He's not sure.
Interesting.
The first thing he remembered is that his name is Bubal.
Interesting.
So if a
nothing more
dragon
specific than that.
Came up and said, hey, we're married, he would have no choice but to believe that dragon because he thought, I've been wondering about that specific thing.
Well, he wouldn't be disinclined to believe them. I have to speculate.
I have an idea. We should tell him that he is married to one of the other champions and he has to figure out which one.
Delia.
It's not true, but I think it'd be funny.
Delia, you should be collecting alimony from this guy.
She's like a child, but sure.
She's at marriageable age for Dragonborn or something. I don't know how it works.
We don't need to worry about
she
that.
was born around the time that he came out of the woods, so yeah, I don't know about that.
Well,
but don't they age like 20 years in 1 second?
I don't know. I don't worry about that kind of thing.
No, that's not how that works.
She'll probably be like a crazy old cat lady by this weekend. Anyway, Playana wants us to move on. She's made that very clear.
Yes, but so speaking of Bubal, he's going to be competing in this upcoming adventure. Let's talk about what these champions can expect. We've actually gotten a couple of inspirational hints. Many prophecies, prophesitos, if you will, that are about some of the upcoming adventures. Would either of you like to read some of the prophesitos?
Well, it was Krello himself who received them from Playana.
You're darn right, although they have disappeared from my arcane device.
I have found them.
Oh, that's because there's been much chatter on said arcane device, but here we go. So, the first word from Playana is champions Sorry, I should do it in a cool Playana voice. Champions, the quest for the blue fire will require nerves of steel and a powerful fist. Prepare your psychic energies and be prepared to reach new highs and lows.
Can you also read that in like an intelligible voice too?
I cannot.
Oh.
So, what do we read into this hint?
Well, the quest for blue fire.
What
That's
the
very
heck is a blue fire?
Well, if fire
The hottest
has
part of
a
the flame.
lot of oxygen in it, it can be blue. Or sometimes if it's got copper, it can be sort of a greenish blue.
That answered that then.
Boom, we're
It's
done.
Oxygenated flame.
There
we
is
solved it.
either a lot of oxygen involved or
Prepare-
copper involved.
Prepare your psychic energies and be prepared to reach new highs and lows. So perhaps there's going to be some kind of a very mental thing that the champions are going to have to worry about. Highs and lows.
Most of our hex challenges have been doing psychic damage to the champions.
That's fair.
As well, because a lot of them have been basically blows to morale. Like if the halflings die, you take psychic damage because you feel guilt. Although I don't know if these champions are capable of guilt, but we'll see.
And these now, am I correct? I might be wrong. These Prophesitos are about the Hex games, correct?
The Hex Challenge.
They are
Hex
the Hex
challenges.
challenges. So
The Hex Games is an
large
event
meta
every
games that
summer.
we do.
We're not dealing with those yet.
All right. What is our next hint?
I will read this in Playana's other voice. Champions, you'll be howling for success, but not in randomness. Bone up on your oral memory, or you might just become one. That word is aural, A-U-R-A-L.
As in hearing.
As in sounding things. Sounding things is correct
So
use of
probably
language.
there's going to
What
be
does
like a.
Bone up mean?
I think
it means to get prepared for something, but
it means to prepare.
essentially, maybe there's going to be
But
something.
by like collecting bones?
Yeah, so you're going to gather as many bones as you can, and then you're going to sort of hit them together to see what the sound is like.
Are bones
I
like
don't
boons?
think that's it at all. No, bones
I
are
think
not
our
Are
good.
you sure she
champions-
didn't say boon up?
Well, howling for success and then oral memory. So
I'm
maybe
not,
it's
I
going to
can't
be
be.
some kind of like you have to repeat a sound. You hear a sound, you have to repeat it in the
Well,
right
and it
order.
Or
says
maybe
that
you
they'll-
specifically have to collect the tiny bones in people's ears.
Oh, well, it says
That's it.
I bet that's
if
it.
they don't bone up on their
Start
oral
collecting
memory,
ear bones.
they will become one. They'll become an oral memory.
Yep, we
which,
won't remember what they look like.
yeah, we will just wipe them from the record, and you will only hear their voice. Mm-hmm. Not unlike, that guy. I can't remember what he looks like anymore.
Do you remember what he sounded like?
Oh yeah, I sound like this. Oh.
I remember that
Yeah, I
guy.
remember
Yeah.
that guy. Now that you mention the sound, the oral memory, I
So
remember
if you don't
it.
want to join that guy, bone up on your oral memory.
So, what is the next quote that we have there?
So glad you asked. This one is Playana's true voice. Champions have entered the Hex many times, but never like this. Know your history, and you'll be making it. In that case, I assume she means history.
I thought she just meant like making it like.
Like making it.
I'm making it in Hollywood, you know?
Yeah, like you're making it in fantasy Hollywood, which is pretty much
Well,
the
I sure
Hex,
hope so, because I'm not writing any of this stuff down.
right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So-
Well, and
Remember your history. Is it going to be like history of Throsha? Is it going to be American history? Whatever that is.
we literally have an amnesiac in the party.
Yeah, that's going to be tough for him.
So I wouldn't count on him.
Well, maybe he only remembers history because he doesn't have his own memory. So when he learns history, that's just,
History of people who may or may not be married to dragons, which again is literally everyone.
I don't know why that got me so, because that was not actually that funny.
Listen, shut up, Wendy.
Look, you wake up every morning and you got to tell yourself, I might be married to a dragon. I might
I
not
don't
be.
have to tell myself that. I wake up next to my wife.
No, but you could.
Dragons are famously shape changers. Your wife could, unless you're saying you're married to a dragon, in which case,
Yep,
mystery
we have that
solved.
in the chat. No, when man says dragons can change into any form.
Boom.
Someone, Beard Kenobi saying quiz time, so maybe the history thing is going to be like a history quiz or something.
That sounds riveting.
So it's saying that they're going to enter the Hex, but in a way that they haven't before.
Maybe they'll have to phrase
Are
their
they
answers in the
building
form
a
of a
door
question.
to this room that I don't know about?
Always, eternally.
What?
Yeah, no, it's like, okay, for example.
Where?
Have you ever gone like
We've already got
way
2 doors.
in that direction? The citizens of Throsia have never seen behind that wall, but it is just terrifying.
It
It is.
Maybe they're going to build a trap door or something
I'm
and then
afraid
like
to go
crash
back
through
there.
the ceiling.
Oh, when Onan was waving those sticks around in week 1, maybe he burst a hole in the ceiling. That's a good call.
Oh, I
All
fixed
right.
that, though.
We've got
Oh, thank
one
you.
last quote. Let's read it.
We sure do. All right, I'm ignoring those sounds, but the last quote from Playana is, "Champions will climb new heights not seen in many epochs, EPOCHS, at the Hex." I wanted to spell it for you because Playana desired it so.
I thought it was pronounced epoch.
Epochs?
Is that, am I
Let
am
me
I
start
wrong?
over. Sorry, Playana. Champions will climb new heights not seen in many epochs at the Hex. There you will cast your lot, finding yourself bouncing toward your inevitable fate.
It's a bouncy castle. That's what's happening.
We solved it, but there's one more sentence in the ancient text. Instincts and skills, perhaps, but luck too prevails.
All right.
So it's a bouncy castle. We
It's a
settled that.
bouncy castle with some kind of luck involved. If it doesn't collapse on you, you'll be lucky.
Well, what's that last line again?
Instincts and skills, perhaps, but luck too prevails.
Isn't that literally everything they do is either instinct, skills, or luck?
Look, you either married to a dragon, not married to a dragon, you will need your skills or you will need luck. This is just how life works. I'm very excited to see what these challenges are and how these hints play in, and all the other adventures, of course, that they're going to be going on. Now, in order to best understand where it is they're going to be going, we need to learn a little bit about the past. Now, previously, our Hexmaster gave us a bit of exposition. Now, we've got quite a long clip here, but it's very important, so I really want to see about this exposition that the Hexmaster provided.
Hexposition. Come on, Wendy.
Hexposition.
Yes.
Let's roll that Hexposition. Almost knocked over my water.
At this time, I need to tell you a tale, because that which is unfolding now has its roots in the very beginnings of Throsia. All of you here, for your entire lifetime, have known the sea on the western coast of Throsia to be called the Ugly Deep, a churning, tumultuous sea, plagued constantly by tempests and by hungry beasts with no name. None who sail the Ugly Deep have ever returned. And it has been many centuries since any even tried. But it was not always so. In the early days of Throsia, when the very echoes of the forming still sounded in Throsia's peaks, those waters were calm. Harbors, docks, and fishing ships dotted the western coast of Throsia, and many sailed the waters. Until the day when an enormous ship, like the one that you saw, arrived on Throsia's coast, and an army of giants set forth, claiming that they were here to expand their territory and claim Throsia as part of their own kingdom. The Hexant rose up, the original 5 guardians leading the champions, and they beat back the giants and sent them back across the sea. It was decided that they would be pursued to their continent to instill a fear and a lesson that they should never return to molest Throsia again. At the cost of many lives, the battle was won. But in one of the 5 original great deeds done by the original guardians, Malthior stood on the coast of the giants' continent and pulled down from the sky the cloud giants' castle that they could not sail back across the sea and molest Throsia from the air. And as it tumbled and cracked, many giants were slain, and the cloud giants were no more. But beyond that, Malthior opened his spellbook and cast a spell the likes of which has never been seen before and has never been seen again in Throsia. He created the Ugly Deep. He filled the ocean with the beasts that would pull down any ship that would attempt to cross it, creating an impenetrable barrier, protecting Throsia from the giants. And so it has remained for hundreds and hundreds of years. Until now. For as you know, the sea has been restored to its former calm, and the giants have returned. We've received word that the giants who arrived in their ship sailed to the city of Ilfracombe, high on the western coast, where Throtia's most ancient library is. Once they arrived, they discovered and broke into what was believed to be forgotten, a hidden vault that contained Malthior's private library, and they have stolen Malthior's very spell book. The spell that created the Ugly Deep is contained inside of that book, and we know not what other powers that book holds. Champions, we are sending you across the sea to pursue the giants and take back the spell book that has been stolen. We do not know what their intent is, but the fate of Throtia rests on your shoulders. Before we send you out, I want you to know there were 3 ships. The first, captained by a hill giant and his army of ogres. The second, captained by fire giants, and the third by the frost giants. We've received word that the hill giant captain veered off course and has stopped on an island between Throtia and the continent of the giants, which is called Glempt. Very little is known about their land, but we are sending you to this island to see if you can find out anything about the whereabouts of this book. It may be in the hands of these hill giants. Champions, the last thing that I can tell you is I hope that you fly safely on the wings of Sorios.
Ooh.
Wow, that's a veritable history lesson.
Hextory.
Ooh.
And
Yes.
we were just told that our champions will be tested on history.
Interesting.
Hextory.
So I sincerely hope our champions are watching.
We've got
I sincerely hexo too.
yes, that one worked very well. But we've got a
I
lot
know
of love.
exactly what you're trying to say.
Shut up. We've got a lot of love for the Hexmaster in this. I'm very sorry. I'm very happy to have both of you here. We've got a lot of love for the Hexmaster in the chat here. I love the Hexmaster's pontifications. It's from Noah Man. Doogadoo says, I love the Hexmaster. So a lot of love for Galavor the Fifth out there. We
I love
also
him
love
too.
the Hexmaster. Now, we have been told many times that history lesson, or hextory, I suppose,
Hextory.
is very important. So, Throtians and champions alike, it's out there. You have access to it. You can
Bone up.
bone up and watch that video again. Listen very carefully, because apparently it's quite important. History is important. It's doomed to repeat itself.
Hextory.
Repeat itself. Repeat. Anyway, so
That was amazing. I've never been more proud of you.
I'm glad you just got to say a few words over and over again. But I'm very excited to see how the champions handle this, and what it is they're going to do as they visit Glempt and try to get all that book back. It's a
Looks like they're doing a lot of piracy. They're going to be raiding 2 more boats.
yeah, it's
So-
you know, but it's for the greater good. But
The greater good of Throtia specifically.
yeah, not like the greater good of piracy, you know, because a pirate might say, this is good for me, so, and I'm greater than everyone else, so. But
I mean, that's kind of literally what we're doing. But carry on.
these champions...
Throtia is greater than everyone else, though.
Right.
so,
It's okay because
yeah.
we're the correct when we say that.
Yeah.
Right, but anyway, these champions, as they go forward in these adventures, are going to need your help. Because there's all kinds of adventures, and in fact, a lot of these adventures are almost too big to take on. I believe very firmly that one of the reasons we did not have as many deaths this past adventure as opposed to the first one was because of the boons
Unquestionably,
that
yes.
the champions had
Yeah.
available to them and how they were able to use them in saving themselves. And these boons come directly from you, our viewers, and the citizens of Throtia. As we've said before, boons are sort of like in-game currency. During the game and live, you can purchase boons and give them to your favourite clan or your favourite player, and those champions can use the boons to get the thing that they need crucially. For example, they were able to use boons to add more time to one of the hex challenges. They're able to use boons to re-roll their die, to say, actually, you don't hit them, to get health potions for themselves, all different kinds of things. And they
Or to
won't-
make Krello apologize.
Yes, very important.
Critical to their success.
But these boons are absolutely crucial, not only to their success, but even their lives. And you can be the one to help them with that. If you go to Hive Channel 5, that's the number 5.com, you can sign up for a subscription, which gives you a certain amount of boons. And if you come to one of our live shows with a ticket, you get a certain amount of boons, and you can award those boons to anyone you like. And they're able to help them. There's also, of course, all sorts of other projects with the Hive Collaborative that use boons, and we highly encourage you to use those there as well. But the boons come in direct and live and immediate help to the champions who are on Into the Hex. And while they use them, it not only helps them, but it saves the day. You can be the one that saves the day. We highly encourage this. So please go into hivechannel5.com. You can even do it while the game is going live. If someone's about to die, log on and get them some boons so that they can help themselves or even help someone else. Lots of players have used boons to help each other. So just keep in mind that boons are absolutely crucial. In almost all of the victories, even with Hex games that we had, were directly in proportion to the boons that people were able to give out.
Good job, Booball.
Oh, Booball, that's one boon.
As you can see,
there we go.
Well done, whoever that was.
The channels by which you can award boons to the champions or voting is already open.
They're open right now. Log on right now. You can see it happen live. And if you go in and put some boons, you'll get to see. Look at that. Look at that.
What
5
is
boons
happening?
to Delia. Absolutely perfect. Wonderful. Awesome. Fantastic. Now, of course, these boons are not... Chantilly's getting some boons as well. But you can save lives and make this game even more fun because, of course, Krello can apologise, people can live, it's all sorts of wonderful things. Now,
Those two things mainly.
Mostly those things. Now, we also have all sorts of other websites, not just Hive Channel 5, which is sort of the main hub of where things happen here, but we're, of course, found on Facebook, Instagram, a lot of different social medias. You might be watching this on our Twitch, which is the Hive Collaborative, and you can mostly find us either under Hive Collaborative or Hive Tix. I believe on Instagram we're Hive Tix.
Yes.
With an
yes,
X.
on Instagram, Hive Tix. That's T-I-X.
T-I-X.
Not like the bugs.
No.
No. There's a whole hive of ticks out there. Ooh, that was terrible. I probably shouldn't have said that. But
Wendy, that was brilliant.
Thank you
Don't
very
sell
much.
yourself short.
But we highly encourage you to check us out on all our different channels, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. I think that's mostly it, and our actual website, Hive Channel 5. We post all different kinds of things, and often they are exclusive to those different channels, so be sure to go check all of those out. You can always hashtag us at hashtag the Hive Collaborative, hashtag Hive Tix, hashtag Into the Hex, hashtag Prophesitos. So, you know, make sure to plug us wherever you can, and if you hashtag us, there's a very big chance that we'll see you. You might get a bit of a shout out.
The people of Throw should demand an answer. Is Prophesitos spelt with an S or a C? No, I wasn't looking at chat. I just know you're all wondering.
It would be Prophesitos with an S.
Okay, Prophesitos with an S.
Because it's prophecy, right?
I was spelling it with an X.
Okay, but the word prophecy, of course, is spelt with a C.
Is it spelt with a C?
Yeah, you're thinking of prophesy.
Oh, I am. Look, I'm not known for my spelling, as
So
I said.
Prophesitos with a C or an S. C
Or
for
an X.
Krello, S for someone else.
Right. Look, as I said before, intelligence is my dump stat. Well, I said wisdom is my dump stat. Most stats are dump for me.
Hey, what about the monster Hotch? Charisma's not his dump stat, am I right? Pass that on to
Look,
Wendy,
I'm
would
not
ya?
saying that he's not very charismatic, but he's incredibly charismatic.
That's from me.
Oh, thank you very much. I didn't really feel it because it was on my armor, but that's all right.
Well, that's what armor's for.
A lot of people are writing C. I know I just, in the chat, I know I just said it's spelled with S, but if it's prophecies with a C, maybe it should be prophesitos with a C.
Every time you spell Prophesito with a C, I take that as a Krello boon. Thank you.
All right, let's say prophesitos with a C, even though I just said with an S, and then it also doesn't matter because it's not a real word. So Right. Some people saying Hotch must be a bard because he rolled a natural 20 on seduction. We're gonna not. We're not gonna really look at that too
Seduction
much.
is from an older edition. It's gone now. It's gone.
Right.
Watch for Hotch's Instagram account coming soon.
All right.
It's not true.
So here's the question I have.
Yeah.
What are you most worried about coming up, and what are you most excited about coming up for this next adventure? We'll go through those things, and we'll sign out.
I am deeply worried that we might see the Hexmaster fudge a roll to protect the party, but luckily we got cameras pointed right at the dice. I think we're going to see some more fatalities. What was the second question?
What are you most excited about?
I am most excited for the blue fire.
Excellent.
Whatever that is.
Moving on.
I am most excited to see what happens between Delia and Deg. I mean, will it end in a legitimate
Deglia.
romance?
Deglia, that's their couple name.
I was going for D&D.
We
That
made
was
that
the
joke
best
last
joke
weekend,
I've
but you
ever
weren't
heard.
here.
By the way.
Oh, gosh darn it. Well, that's just embarrassing for me. Speaking of which, that's the other way it could go, you know? That teenage romance sometimes burns in embarrassing
Sometimes.
flames. And it usually does. And you know what? I'm here for that, too.
Yep.
What am I
People
most
just
afraid
said,
of?
Delia and Dig already had a sweaty handhold, so what more can you ask for? I agree. It's about as far as I've ever gotten in romance anyway,
Yes.
so.
I mean, can you have a handhold without the sweat? Not me.
I don't know what sweat is. That sounds like a mortal thing.
It is.
Anyway, what I'm most afraid of is Delia dying. I mean,
She's she just gives all of her healing to almost everyone else, and she often forgets to take care of herself.
she does, and you know, she and I have known each other for quite a while. You know, I was the one who recruited her into the Hex. You know, I would feel a lot of responsibility if she were to perish in the line of duty.
Yep. We have some people saying here that they're most excited to learn the history. I agree. History is very important, so check up on that Hexposition,
More
everyone.
Hexposition, please.
But I'm very excited to see what each of these champions offer, and I'm very excited to see in what way the boons are going to help them, because you never know how a boon's going to help and what they're going to do with it, and I really want to see those Hex games, the Hex challenges. They're always my favourite part. Well, thank you to everyone who's watched. Again, feel free to follow us on Twitch or subscribe on Twitch. I don't know what it's called. It changes in the future, but thank you all for tuning in to Hex Center Live. We hope to see you in this upcoming adventure, and thank you so much for tuning in. You want to sign off?
Actually, before I sign off, I've been asked to kind of share an update with you all. Galavor shared last week that I was absent for some personal family reasons, and I just wanted to share that last week my wife gave birth to a healthy baby boy, and we are so happy and so excited to have him.
Did you name the child Deg?
We compromised. Deg is his middle name.
All right. You know what? That's the best we can hope for.
That's all I need. Well, folks, thanks so much for coming to Hex Center Live.
I didn't get to sign off.
Thanks
you
so much
abusive
for
lady.
coming to Hex Center
I'm
Live.
Krello. Okay, I'm done.
You folks have a wonderful night. We'll see you in Enter the Hex.
Enter
Sign
the
out.
Hex.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, it's done.
I am going to move up to the yellow ogre because I'm feeling a little outdone right now. So I'm gonna draw my daddy's sword.
Paladin envy.
Oh, shut up. And I'm gonna attack it.
Yeah! Roll to attack.
Thanks. Did you see my technique, Deg? That's how you do it.
Yeah. I feel like we got on the wrong foot here. I wasn't trying to one-up you here. I want us all to be friends. I really like my only real friend back home his name's George, and I don't know. I want us all to be friends. I want all of us hang out after this.
Just brag about how you have friends back home. It's fine.
Sounds to me like he's...
I have one friend.
Oh, Skippy.
Just go.
I ship them so hard.
All right, Delia, anything else on your turn? All right, the Green Ogre in retaliation is going to attempt to impale you on his javelin as he growls deep, rumbling growls. Rolling a 1.
Javelin hits my abs.
Who is this guy?
Why not?
Like
I
10
don't
It's
crunches
one.
a day.
But I love it.
As he bolts for the water, lumbering away, terror in his eyes, letting loose a minor. You bury this hand axe in his back. He stumbles forward and lands in the water face down. As you see him hit the water, a most peculiar thing happens as a swarm of what appears to be starfish begin leaping out of the water and landing on him, and you hear the sound of teeth and flesh being ripped asunder, and red sprays.
I throw up.
Oh, so much grossness all around me.
Deg, I'll need a Constitution save from you.
That's a 5.
Yeah, it's quite the mess.
At least she didn't choke.
Well, I was impressed.
All right.
Can I talk to you for a sec?
Excuse me, best friend.
There was some amazing athleticism and hand-eye coordination displayed.
Indeed.
Not to mention the teamwork that they
Deg is kind of
exhibit.
really impressive.
Most of the time they knew right from
No,
left.
like I said, I ship it hardcore. Okay, so here's what you're going to do.
This is new to me.
Oh, I know. It's okay. I got you. Okay,
I don't like it.
You're going to, next time you kill something,
Yeah?
you're going to look at him and wink. You can do it. You can wink, right? Oh, that was really good! Yes!
I have so many conflicting emotions
so
right now.
either after you kill something or after you make a really cool attack, you just, like...
Okay.
Okay. I believe in you. Okay.
Just a regular little old slash.
Another 10 points of damage?
And then I'm gonna turn around and look at Deg. Did I do it?
You did it. I'm so proud.
Okay.
Into this, so it
I
looks
look over
really
towards
cool.
Delia, but I end up winking just at the wall.
Yeah, that's about right.
I'm like peeking
I
through.
saw it, and that's what matters. Okay,
I'm
guess
looking
what?
for it, but
guess
I can't
what I saw?
find it.
Okay, so you didn't see it because you were behind the wall. But after Deg was attacking, he looked over to where you were behind the wall, and he totally winked.
It looks like that.
Yeah, he did. He did. I know you didn't see it because you were behind the wall.
Yeah, I kind of
But he was
pain.
winking in your direction. You did it.
Okay.
What do I do now?
Kids usually stand like this.
Maybe not like that.
Okay.
You know, that is a great question. The closest I ever got to love was Hemlock, and he died. So,
Knees together,
sorry
feet
about that.
apart, and strut.
Well, champions.
so I think you maybe kiss him. Is that next steps?
I've never done that before.
I mean, me neither. So I don't know how to help you with that.
I am going to run up to the yellow troll next to Deg. Don't think anything about it.
I'm way overthinking it.
And I am going to... I can't even think now.
Yeah.
That is an 8 plus, I believe it's 10. No, 7. 8 plus 7.
You seem to be having a bit of trouble. Are you all right? You seem flustered.
I'm fine. Hexmaster, I don't want to talk about it. I'm just gonna sideways glance at Deg and be like, I said don't get hurt.
Oh, sorry.
And we're just gonna stand here awkwardly.
Yeah. It's really nice outside.
Hey, Delia and Dag.
What, Krello?
I think you should carve your initials in a tree.
I actually agree with Krello on
They
this
would
one.
be D&D.
Krello, what's D&D?
Oh, yeah, I do.
This was just
Pachi,
a vision given to me by
Please tell me I can go
Playana.
back. Quick question before we go. Who did this? Who did this?
It wasn't me. It clearly wasn't me, actually.
This is why you don't like people, okay? This is why you don't do it, because then they just go and they betray you, or they get hurt, and they just keep getting hurt, and you can't do anything, and this is why you don't do it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
No. Okay, let's roll!
18 points of damage to Deg.
I'm gonna use my last channel divinity to point at this guy and be like, don't hurt the guy that I like! And it's gonna add...
You heard it here first, folks.
That was a +6 damage. I didn't think about what was coming out of my mouth.
I don't want to hold your hand down.
Hail, traveler, and welcome to the Hex. Sit down, rest your feet. I've got a tale to tell I think you'll want to hear. Delia of Zarzithixin was born and raised in a tiny mountain village high in the mountains of Throsha's northern ridge. She is the eldest of 4 children born to her mother, Kava, and her father, Rogar. Known far and wide as the double-edged sword, Rogar was one of the greatest warriors to ever belong to Clan Arya. For every adventure he embarked on, Delia cherished his return, the tales he would tell and the songs he would sing. One day, however, during Kesukara's rise to power, Rogar left home and never came back. Eager to follow in her father's footsteps, Delia began the path of the paladin, learning swordplay and divine magic to protect her family, then the Hex, then all of Throsha. Her father's warrior blood flowed strong in her veins, and it didn't take long for her to become the youngest champion in Arya's history at only 10 years old, which translates to about 14 in human years. Delia is better known for her other strengths, however. Her reputation is built on her preference to make allies, not enemies, the sacrifices she makes to support her fellow champions, and her ability to meet every challenge with her signature broad, genuine smile. She wore the same smile as she exposed and dethroned Kesukara, ridding Throsha of his lies and corruption. Returning home after such a feat was hard for Delia. She had seen worlds so far beyond her little mountain village, and it became difficult for her to relate to her peers. Even when she was allowed to return to the Temple of Playana to train with the other champions of Arya, she began to feel more alone as one by one, the other champions were called to repel the demons that had invaded Throsha in the wake of Kesukara's machinations. At last, Delia has been called back to the Hex, and though she doesn't yet know what she'll face, you can be certain that she'll face it with a smile.
All right, so I get kind of seasick, so you guys might need to take the front on this one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you need this.
Champions,
I got this.
you will have the opportunity to be counseled by...
And as I walk past Tilly, I'm going to hand her back her handkerchief.
Thank you.
I'm going to puff out my chest.
All right, the Green Ogre in retaliation is going to attempt to impale you on his javelin as he growls deep, rumbling growls. Rolling a 1.
Javelin hits my abs.
Who is this guy?
Why
I've been
not?
doing like
I
10
don't
It's
stretches
one.
a day.
But I love it.
As he bolts for the water, lumbering away, terror in his eyes, letting loose a minor... You bury this hand axe in his back. He stumbles forward and lands in the water face down. As you see him hit the water, a most peculiar thing happens as a swarm of what appears to be starfish begin leaping out of the water and landing on him, and you hear the sound of teeth and flesh being ripped asunder and red sprays.
I throw up.
Oh, so much grossness all around me.
Deg, I'll need a Constitution save from you.
That's a 5.
Yeah, it's quite the mess.
At least she didn't choke.
With his spear, who's been watching wide-eyed, he's been scraping bugs off of himself and holding out, sits down in the sand.
Where's the spam bucket? I can be intimidating too!
We know how well this went last time. That. That is a 1. It's fine.
All right.
Thank you.
As you run forward to demand, he misinterprets your speedy advance and he just pulls you in with his big arms and begins to continue sobbing.
It is okay. It is okay. It is okay. I got you.
Andrea,
It
Andrea,
was.
let me
Oh,
try.
fine.
Let me try. Oh my gosh! Like, dude, your coconuts, they're so cool! Do you like,
I think she's okay.
what do you like put in the juice, man?
Call him dog. More coconut juice?
Oh my gosh, that's the secret!
Yeah. Yeah, I think she's okay. Yeah, I think she is okay. Well, I've been saying she was okay this whole time, bro, so...
Dude, yeah!
Bro!
And then put this one in the back somewhere out of the way.
Okay, that's a good idea.
So I'll put, or maybe somewhere in the center, or...
So, champions, how about that pure luck that saved you, huh?
There it is.
Pretty good.
I would like to go to the boon store.
So much.
And I would like to buy an apology from Krello.
Andrea, sometimes I feel like I strike out because I hate myself. I don't know how to deal with my inadequacy. So it's 2 more brains than Deg, am I right?
Excuse me. 50 boons right there. You apologise to the young man.
Deg,
Before you start, I want to let you know that I'm really self-conscious about my smartness.
you know, and you shouldn't be. It's this is a reflection on me and my own self-consciousness about my smartness. And it's going to be really hard for me not to just repeat stuff I said to Andrea because I'm just not that smart.
Shut up, Carlo.
She's up for
I
it.
can't.
She's up for
Cleona
it. She can do
compels
it.
me to talk endlessly.
Thanks, Pachi. I like Pachi better than you.
Pasha, you're cool.
Everyone likes me better.
What's wrong with you?
No offense, but your magic is creepy.
I think it's quite delightful.
I miss Hemlock. His magic was nice.
I'm an ice dragon, so I liked it.
So I'm going to give my vial of maggots another little shake, but instead of maggots crawling around on its skin, this time it's going to be butterflies. And I'm going to look over at the others, and I'm going to be like, is that better?
That is better. Yes, wait.
Okay, so I'm going to let Delia go.
All right.
And I'm going to take a minute to think about what I did.
No.
I take a hit of the coconut first, though, and then I hand it to him. Bro.
So
I mean, he's a halfling.
Dead.
His bladder's got to be like this
Dolphin.
big.
Dolphin.
Maybe take it easy, mate.
How much is in that coconut?
He throws the coconut into the jungle.
That was a bit upsetting to watch.
And as I do it, I'm going to sing Delia and Deg sitting in a tree. K-I-S-S-I-N-G. And that, the first one will not hit. I'm sure it's a 4 plus 8.
I'll give you inspiration for the song. Roll it.
That is a 16 plus 8.
It connects.
Oh, that is 8 points of damage.
We need 2 things from you. We need you to show us how to get to Captain Bug, and we also need to know your ab workout.
Who is this circle man?
Barkeep.
Galibor, the keys are very nearly depleted, my friend.
Perhaps we should bring our champions back. Pashi, please, bring home our champions.
I am closing the portals and the channels.
Hey, Dahlia and Dag.
What, Krello?
I think you should carve your initials in a tree.
I actually agree with Krello on
They
this
would
one.
be D and D.
Krello, what's D&D?
Oh, yeah, I do.
This was just a
Pashi,
vision given to me by
Please don't make me go
Playona.
back. Hello, Grant's friend. What's your name?
Me, Pusilla.
Pusilla. That is a great name. It's such a pleasure to meet you, Pusilla. Pusilla. Do you go by Pooh? Can I call you Pooh? Is that okay? Do you have a nickname? I'm giving you a nickname. Hello, Pooh. So, Pooh, how about...
This is why you don't like people, okay? This is why you don't do it, because then they just go and they betray you, or they get hurt, and they just keep getting hurt, and you can't do anything, and this is why you don't do it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Are you okay?
No. Okay, let's roll!
An ogre.
Grr. Oh. Dar.
Now, this ogre has clearly never worked on its abdominals.
Dang, that was really good.
Thanks, guys.
Big burn, mate.
Okay, I would like to go to the Boon Store, and I would like to buy an apology from Krello. And I want him to apologize in the form of a modern dance.
All right, that's all you get for 50 boons.